Top 10 Untold History of Rome's Power, from Empire to Vatican. When we think of Rome, visions of emperors, gladiators, and the grandeur of the Colosseum come to mind. But behind the ruins and relics lies a complex web of history, one that tells a deeper story of how Rome transitioned from the capital of a vast empire to the spiritual heart of the Catholic world. Let's uncover the top 10 untold moments in Rome's powerful legacy. But before we dive in, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss out on our upcoming videos. Let's get started. 10. The Rise of Romulus, a murder for a kingdom. Every empire begins with a legend, and Rome's began with blood. Rome's origin story is soaked in ambition and violence. Romulus, raised with his twin Remus by a she-wolf, killed his brother in a dispute over the city's founding. This act wasn't just legend, it symbolized Roman values, strength, destiny, and sacrifice. Romulus's choice echoed through centuries of Roman conquest, defining an empire built on conflict. Whether truth or myth, the tale shaped Rome's mindset. It wasn't just a city born from murder, it was a kingdom forged through ambition. In Rome, greatness wasn't granted. It was taken, no matter the cost. 9. The Sabine women, Rome's first diplomats. Kidnapping led to kinship in one of history's strangest peace treaties. Early Rome had no women, so Romulus lured the Sabines to a festival, then abducted their daughters. War loomed, but the abducted women stopped it. Having formed bonds with their captors, they stood between armies and demanded peace. Their courage forged unity between two rival peoples. This tale, whether fact or myth, reflects Rome's belief in assimilation through strength. These women weren't passive. They shaped Rome's future through defiance and diplomacy, becoming unexpected founders of Rome's multicultural legacy. 8. The Rebellion of Spartacus, slaves against the system. From the chains of slavery rose the greatest threat to Rome's elite. In 73 BC, Spartacus, a Thracian gladiator, led a massive revolt that shook Rome's foundations. Escaping from a gladiator school in Capua, he gathered over 70,000 slaves and peasants, exposing the deep inequalities of Roman society. For nearly 2 years, his forces outmaneuvered Roman legions. Though eventually crushed by Crassus, Spartacus's legacy endured. Thousands of rebels were crucified, but their rebellion forced Rome to confront its dependence on slave labor. Spartacus became more than a rebel. He was a symbol of justice and resistance, showing that even in bondage, the human spirit could challenge an empire. 7. The Ides of March, Caesar's betrayal and Rome's transformation. Even the mighty must bleed, especially when ambition eclipses loyalty. On March 15, 44 BC, Julius Caesar's life ended at the hands of his closest allies. His assassination wasn't merely a political maneuver, it was the tragic culmination of a republican crisis. Caesar's increasing power, marked by his declaration as dictator for life, alarmed the Senate. Convinced that Caesar's rule threatened the Republic, Brutus, Cassius, and others plotted his murder. Their intention was to restore Rome to its former glory. However, the assassination ignited civil war, and Caesar's heir Octavian emerged victorious, eventually becoming Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. The Ides of March, meant to preserve the Republic, instead hastened its fall and ushered in the age of imperial rule. 6. The Fire of Rome, Nero's blaze, or a convenient scapegoat. When the city burned, so did the line between truth and tyranny. In July 64 CE, a devastating fire ravaged Rome, lasting 9 days and destroying much of the city. Emperor Nero's reputation took a major hit when rumors circulated that he played his lyre as the flames consumed the city. To deflect blame, Nero scapegoated the Christians, blaming them for the inferno and using it as an excuse for brutal persecutions. While it's uncertain whether Nero started the fire, he seized the opportunity to rebuild Rome in his own image, constructing the lavish golden house on land cleared by the flames. This fire also marked the beginning of tensions with Christianity, which would later become the empire's official religion, and demonstrated Nero's use of propaganda to control public perception and maintain power. 5. The Conversion of Constantine, Cross Before the Crown. One vision changed the faith of an empire and the world. In 312 CE, Emperor Constantine saw a vision before the Battle of Milvian Bridge, a cross in the sky with the words in the sign, "Conquer." Interpreting it as a divine message, Constantine adopted Christianity's symbol. After his victory, he legalized Christianity with the Edict of Milan, in 313 CE, marking the start of Christianity's rise in the Roman world. Constantine built churches, including St. Peter's Basilica, and aligned his reign with the Christian faith, lending spiritual and political power. His conversion didn't immediately transform Rome, but it paved the way for Christianity's dominance in the empire. 4. The fall of the Western Roman Empire, not with a bang, but a bureaucracy. Sometimes empires don't fall, they just stop working. In 476 CE, the Western Roman Empire collapsed when Germanic chieftain Odoacer deposed Emperor Romulus Augustulus. But the fall was gradual. Decades of political corruption, military struggles, and economic instability contributed to its decline. Rome's reliance on mercenaries and its weakened government structure accelerated its disintegration. While the Western Empire fell, the Eastern Byzantine Empire thrived for centuries. The Western Empire's decline wasn't marked by a dramatic event, but rather by slow erosion. Despite its fall, Roman traditions, laws, and infrastructure shaped the future of Europe, leaving an enduring legacy that outlived the empire itself. 3. The rise of the papacy, popes over princes. Where emperors failed, popes prevailed. As the Western Roman Empire crumbled, the pope emerged as a central authority. From the 5th century, popes began to assert political and spiritual power. Pope Leo I negotiated with the Huns, while Gregory the Great expanded papal influence across Europe. By the 8th century, the pope formed alliances with Frankish kings like Charlemagne, solidifying the papacy's role in European politics. The papacy transcended religious matters, becoming a diplomatic, cultural, and military force. While emperors fell, the papacy endured, guiding Europe through the Dark Ages and shaping moral and political doctrine, ruling through divine authority. 2. The donation of Constantine, the forged foundation of papal power. A lie so powerful, it ruled empires. The donation of Constantine, a forged document claiming that Emperor Constantine transferred imperial power to Pope Sylvester I, bolstered the Pope's political authority for centuries. The document granted the church lands and influence, allowing the papacy to claim dominance over kings. It wasn't until the 15th century that scholars exposed the forgery. Yet its impact had already shaped medieval geopolitics, influencing monarchs and bolstering papal legitimacy. The donation reminds us of Rome's enduring use of narrative control, whether fact or fiction. It helped elevate the Pope from a religious leader to a powerful sovereign, influencing European history for generations. 1. The Vatican City, from prison to powerhouse. What began as captivity ended in sovereignty. By the late 19th century, popes refused to recognize the legitimacy of a unified Italy, locking themselves within the Vatican as prisoners. For decades, the papacy was isolated, its authority confined to spiritual matters. That changed with the Lateran Treaty of 1929, signed by Mussolini and Pope Pius XI, which recognized Vatican City as an independent state. This tiny enclave became the world's smallest country, and one of its most influential. With its own laws, currency, and diplomatic corps, the Vatican held enormous soft power. It influenced global politics, shaped moral discourse, and became a center for humanitarian aid and cultural preservation. From isolation to independence, the Vatican's story is